Hi everyone, good afternoon to all of you. Hope it's a really good day for you. We've been having a lot of rain, so I'm glad to kind of see it stopped at the moment, but I have on some birds singing because I miss the birds singing. Anyway, here we are. This is a painting I did the other day, just yesterday afternoon actually. And I wanted to kind of show you a few things on this, what brush I used, and like how I did it. And we'll go right over what I've done, and that's called layering. So I'm going to take a round brush here, round pointed brush, and I think I'll start with these cute little, I'm really not sure what they're called. I just kind of came up with them. I'm sure there's some sort of leafy thing, but I don't know what. So I'm going to take some purple. I want to go over this color. I don't mean purple. I mean some red and rose color is what I meant to say. I'm sorry. And I'm going to come over here, and with the point of my brush, okay, I just sort of, I'm going to be doing a sideways one that's going to come over this one that I've already done. And I just sort of, I'm going to get a little water, but not much. Dabbed, dab, then one in the center. And I think I might have to add a little more red to make that stand out. And then I just kind of got them a little bit bigger as I came down. Add something else in there. And one in the center. So that by the time I got to the bottom, they were much larger than the ones at the top. And I thought those were pretty cool. So I think, and so that's, the bottom one was purple, and I just put that one on top. I'm going to turn my paper, because otherwise I really have to be quite the contortionist to do that there on that side. I'm going to get the red again. I'm going to start with the top one. You can make these any size you want. This is just the size that I happen to be wanting to do. And, oh, that's really pretty. Okay. And then I'm going to go into my green and take the color off my brush that I've got there. And I just sort of, well, you gotta make it be seen. So, all right, we're just gonna, I took the very tip of my brush and I came down like that to sort of bring, to make a stem. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Not real vivid, just enough that says it's there. So isn't that just so pretty to have, you know, the one color on the bottom, another color on the top that would really go well with the other color on the bottom. And then because I didn't make the paint real thick or with no water in it, you can see the purple coming through the pink. That's beautiful if you ask me. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to reverse it. This one was pink, so I'm going to take the purple. I have a bunch of colors on my palette, so I'm using these up to do this, which it's the way I make blends anyway. If you can see, I just finished a tutorial and I still have these. I just added this one, but I have all these colors blended together from the different things that I did from the other one. So I'm continuing on with those blends. It's how I get a lot of pretty blends. And we're going to do the same thing. This has some blue, some purple, and some of that red mixture that I was using for the other ones. And you just go over like that. And then we'll go over to the green and sort of just kind of to say that we did. And add that. That's very pretty, real pretty. Again, I don't know what they're called. It's just something that I don't know. I must have seen it somewhere, or just, thinking of different flowers, and that's what came up in my mind. And you can see some of the pinks. I don't have this. If I wanted this to not show any of that pink on the bottom, I would add next to no water at all to my paint, so that it's, just so thick that you can't see what's underneath. But I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to do that. So in this particular one, I'm showing you it this way. I would do the yellow one, but I've got the green leaves over it already. So how I made these types of pretty leaves, we'll get some of the color again. I'm just continuing on with the colors. And I'm going to come over this batch here. First, I made a stem that kind of wound around a bit. And then I brought out some little stems like this. Not very long. And then I just, from the stem, came out and and I came up off the brush so that I don't have a point. I don't want a point. I want this frayed kind of generic looking tip. If you can see how these tips are not just to a point like this, and they just come out, and I come up off the paper to create something more round with that sort of a jagged type top. We'll do that up here. No, I'll stay down here, and I'm actually going to get a very dark purple. Something that will go over. This will be a type of a purple, but it's got a lot of red in it as well, and that's fine. So we won't make it as long, but we'll make our stem with our little, this is using the tip of a round brush. And we'll make, our little stems. And then instead of coming down with the tip and down, I don't know if my hand's in the way. Let's see if I can turn this, and that'll help. Here and out. See, I press down and then I come up. I don't let the tip, I don't know how to explain it. If you watch, you can see what I'm doing. See? And it gives this super cool, generic look to the end of the leaves. I love layering on top of paintings, continuing to bring out the depth in a painting. Now, I also made these leaves. I'm trying to remember if I used, I think for most of all this, although I can use, and just for demonstrations, I'll show you. This is a filbert brush. I'm going to get that blue, try to get some of that blue color that this will work. It's a little more than what I wanted, but it's going to work. So this was just a kind of like this, and using the tip of it, just kind of press down and then come up a little. Oh, that is really pretty. See what I mean? You never know. You just grab colors, and this is what happens. This is what I love. All right, so I'm getting pretty full here, and I don't really want to get too, cover up the whole painting. So let's just get some more on there, and we'll come with the same filbert, which is how I made these and these and these. And I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of come out from that one and just kind of do this. We'll make it a little less defined. But do you see what I did there? Maybe even come out here a little bit like this. Oh, oh my goodness, isn't that just absolutely beautiful? I love it when things like that happen. All right, I'm going to add a little red to that, and I'm going to come right here And I'll dab one right in there. Oh, that color. See, there are colors that just magnify other colors. Now that came out, and you know what? I don't want to touch anything else. I absolutely love the way that just enhanced that little painting. So that's kind of how, I guess this will be a bit of a shorter one than some others. Oh, no, I know what I can do. And how we get these little dots or these little air pieces of things. I'll take some of the same colors that I've got going on, and we can just sort of dab with the tips or dab harder, either right like this and get more of a round, or dab with it down on the sides, you know, flattened I mean, and get more of that look. Although they're very small, do it this way. Or like I said, just dab and make your little accentuating things like this. Bigger, smaller, very faint like this. And that's why I say, because this is what it does, wet your brush and make sure you form it back up, because it can get kind of messed up. But that's how I did most of these things. The long ones here, these long ones that I kind of covered up a little, I'll get a little bit of that beautiful blue with that green. And all I did was, with the round brush like this, is put the tip down and then drag it. Now this is those exercises I showed you before that help with knowing how to do these exercises. So it's point down and the flat belly, and then you come back up basically on the tip for those type. Or you can come right to the very tip to get a very pointed tip, so to speak. But that's how I did the long ones. And you know, move your hand around. Just don't go like this. That would be leaves aren't usually like that. So you want it to look more real. If you don't, fine. But I do. So you know, just sort of. I really am just kind of getting full here. Just kind of move it around like that. So there's so many ways to do paintings. Now I could get these little dots an entirely different way as well. I can take my brush, I'm going to get a bigger one. The bigger the brush, the bigger the little dots. It's going to happen when I show you what I'm going to do. The smaller the brush, like for instance, if I use this one, and then I come over and I grab one like this, the dots that I'm going to, it's that action where you go like this to get the dots sprayed onto your painting. This is going to give me a lot smaller dots than this one. So let's do it. Okay, first we'll do the big one. Come in here to some of my colors that I've got. It has to be, and you have to get quite a bit of water on the brush you're going to flick. And you can see that. See if I can, let's see what other color. Maybe a yellow. Okay, I'll get yellow on here. See it? Yeah, now you'll probably have to zoom in. And that's with this bigger brush, and that's, you know, with a lot of water on it. So let's change it around. This small one here is the one I'm going to tap, and it's going to give me very tiny little dots for, and a lot of water here. You may not even be able to see it. I don't know. There's a few little turquoise ones, but they're very tiny, and you need a lot of water. And you just flick it. Tap it on your... And so that adds, you know, that little bit of, add a little more white. A couple of spots here. There we go. It adds that little bit of nuance, you know, just kind of does a little more something to your painting. So there we are. I think that turned out very, very nicely. I liked it when I painted it anyway, but adding this turquoisey type of blue in a lighter shade and then a more darker shade really did add a lot to that. So I hope you enjoyed it, folks. I hope that, you learned something out of it. Most of my videos are just short, simple, mostly for beginners, but for whoever. And we go through some techniques, and I try to explain how this works and that works and what you can do here, what you can do there. So check out my other stuff, folks, and have a great, wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.